हाँ बस मैं चालू कर रहा हूँ. Very good evening, everyone. So, I'm Umang Surana. I'm co founder at Capabl, a graduate from IIT Madras, and also a freeloader at Capabl. Now, why I'm saying that? Because it is good to be a freeloader, right? You end up doing a lot of things, lot effectively, and all for free. Because also free stuff. I love that, and I'm sure you love that as well. So, this is an interesting session. We are going to be going through a lot of templates. We would be building resume on multiple formats, and all of them are the tools which are readily available to you. Okay, those are the tools which are free, those are the tools which you can get access to, be it online, offline. Offline, I mean, you can download it on your laptop or your desktop and can start working on it. Okay, so first of all, welcome everyone to the BR Square event, which is Build Resume Break Record. Okay, and if you guys have joined just by yourself and have not asked your friends to join in, that's not good. Enjoying all the free stuff by yourself, yes, that's great, but the fun is better with someone who you are friends with. Okay, so ask your friends to join in so that they also benefit from it. Share the video with your friends, like, subscribe, and then we can be giving all of these content to you on regular basis. Okay, so with this, without any further delay, let's get started on the free stuff. Now, first thing, let me give you a walkthrough on how it is going to be today. Okay, first we will be going through why it matters, why a resume template matters, why you need to work on a tool, why does it add value to you. Okay, second, what tools are you going to be using now? You have seen on the poster maybe, but yeah, we are going to be introducing very interesting tools to you which are not so famous but are very effective. Okay, and we are giving it to you, and that's a secret because not a lot of people can use them well. And one size fits all? Sadly, no. Right? You are sometimes comfortable with one tool. You like to, play with another tool. So as per that, there are pros and cons of various tools, and as per your personality, as per your skills, you can use a tool which you want to use. And then we will directly head into making resume on those various formats. Perfect. Cool. So let's get started. First thing first, why templates matter, right? So a template is simply to organize the content in a presentable manner. Okay. The idea is that when you get into a professional world, okay, people have less time. People want things effective, and they want to see the person who is at the other end, who they are going to be working with, understands that how to get things fast, how to present things fast and in a better way. That is all doable. Okay, so given all of that, presentation matters, templates matters, and you don't want to end up like this, right? Where you have just mentioned things. Even this is a very good resume, being frank. Okay, at least there's a sequence out there, but it is not how you would want to present yourself to someone, because if someone sees this resume, they are confused. What do you want to tell? It looks like a poem. Being frank, it doesn't even look like a resume, right? So you need to be putting your best when you are presenting yourself to a company, and mind it, because a resume is a view which represents the person before the person is actually out there in front of the company, right? Because the company has not seen you, they have seen your resume, they have judged you as per that. And if someone is going to judge you by your resume, that means you have to put enough effort onto that and not end up looking like this, but something which makes the other person, the interviewee, feels like, okay, I'm going to talk to someone who is presentable, who's smart, who can put their thoughts clearly out on a paper. It's interesting, right? Resume is just not a piece of paper. it speaks a lot more than that. And that's why we are bringing you all these tips and tricks which you can use. So let's look into the tools which you can use. Okay, but we are smart, right? So maybe we should ask Google first, or today ChatGPT is something that is catching up, right? I'm sure you might have heard of ChatGPT for sure. Those who have not heard of ChatGPT, please comment. Those who have heard, please comment in the chat. That would give me some idea on what are your thoughts on ChatGPT. And mostly, if you have not been living under a rock, you would have heard of ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is an AI chat tool which is awesome. It gives you a lot of information which otherwise was difficult to get on. So if you ask a question and ChatGPT answers it. So yeah, being smart myself, I went on and asked ChatGPT, okay, suggest me ways to create a resume for fresher for free. Of course, free is important. And that's what ChatGPT gave to me. There are few ways to create a resume. So there are tools like Canva, My Perfect Resume, Zety. Okay, we will be touching on Canva today for sure. My Perfect Resume and Zety, I will leave it to you. And there are many other tools like that. Then use a pre-designed tool, maybe on Google Docs, maybe on Microsoft Word, and all of that. We'll be touching that as well. So, yep, ChatGPT is smart. Create your own using a word processor software. We'll be doing that as well. Use a open source or free software like LibreOffice, Apache, OpenOffice, or Google Docs. We'll be using a similar version from WPS, which is there. Get help from a professional to write. Okay, you can consider me a professional and I'm going to help you out. Okay, so that's what ChatGPT has to say and we are going to do it all. Now let's look at what Google has to say. Okay, so give me a second. I will be changing my screen to give you an idea on what Google has to say. Cool, perfect. So let's ask Google, create resume for free for fresher tools. Okay, first one, Canva, Naukri, free resume builder. There's a tool on resume.com, resume maker in, resume.io, my perfect resume, design hill, resume builder, Novo resume, enhanced CV, and the list goes on. Right, so Google gives you a list of tools which you can of course go and explore given the limited time we have. I would suggest you guys go through this yourself, find out if there's a tool which you love. When you find such a tool, please do mention that in the comment here, because that would also help others use that tool on your experiences and how did you find that tool. Okay, so coming back to our PPT, so Google has helped us, ChatGPT has helped us. Now let's get back to our conversation here. Okay. Cool. So what next? Let's Google now is what we did and what we are going to do. Okay. So there are some known tools which you know, MS Word and MS PowerPoint, which can be used for making a resume, which we'll be exploring today. Free tools, Canva, WPS, some other resume makers which we explored, we'll be touching on that. Some tools which no one would have told you, MS Excel, Notion, things like those, we'll be touching on that and they are interesting. Ever wondered how can you make a resume on a spreadsheet, on an Excel? We will do that today. And advanced one like Photoshop or Overleaf, which is based on LaTeX, which is a coding language. You can even make resumes using that. Those are advanced ones. I will not be touching them because they are very skill dependent and mostly requires a lot of effort, but they are good tools as well and which can be used. Okay, so we'll be touching them, all the tools. Now, what tool to use, what not to use? I already showed you around 6 to 8 tools here. Correct. So which one should you use for your resume? Which one do you find comfortable with? Okay, so let's see what would that require. There are certain parameters on which you can judge or you can decide which resume tool you should use. Those guys who have just joined, I am walking you through the making of resume before I jump into various tools, and I walk you through how the resume is built using those different tools. Okay, so first one is tool you know how to use is something you should go ahead with. If you are very comfortable with Photoshop or latex language, those are the tough ones, but you could use MS Word, PowerPoint, Google Doc. All of those things are very comfortable. We have used it day in and day out. We could use them. So whatever you are very comfortable with, you can start building on that. Second, you don't want to cost, if you don't want to customize, if you are that kind of a person who is like, okay, I'm not going to work, give me something ready made. Okay, there are tools for you. There is a tool on WPS, and there's Canva and all those tools which give you a lot of access on building a resume. Okay, and there are other tools as well like Zety and others. They also are some of those tools which give you very defined structure. You keep adding your content and your resume is built. So that's the least effort, maximum output. So all the lazy people out there, you could be looking at WPS, Zety and other tools like those. How much do you have to write? Okay, if you are a designer or if you are a fresher who doesn't have much, but if you have a portfolio to show up or you want to show certain designs, then there might be a different tool. But if you have done a lot and you want to customize it on yourself, then Word, Excel, Notion are the tools which are more on the document writing based, and you can use them. They are harder to customize, they are harder to put graphically a lot of things into them, but you can still do that as well. However, for just writing it down in a structured manner, Word, Excel and Notion are some of the good tools. And if you want to customize a lot, okay, the advanced tools like I told you about latex or Photoshop are something which are really cool, and a bit of movement you can do with Canva is also a pretty cool tool if you want to customize a lot. And if you just want to go on structured order, then you could use tools like Zety or WPS, which I'm going to show, and others. Okay, how much design you want to do, again you could go to Canva or PowerPoint for a bit of design but flexibility. And the journey stops at the end. Always remember this: any resume you make ever, you upload that on in your PDF format on any template on any platform you do that, because PDF is not exactly an editable document. Every other document is mostly editable. So by mistake, if something goes wrong, if some changes happen, or if something what should not be there goes through, okay, so you don't want to end up with that, and that's where you want your resume to be put in a PDF format, and that's what is very important, guys. Okay, so what next? Let's make a resume. Okay, so first of all, the first thing which everyone goes through is what I will be touching as well, and that would be making a resume on a doc. So just give me a second, I will be changing my screens and will be giving you a walkthrough on how to make a resume on a document. So Word doc is something which is everywhere available. If you don't have a Word document access with you, then I would suggest you could use maybe Google Docs, maybe some other making tools, and some other things over here. Okay. Cool. So just give me a second over here, guys. Okay, I hope you guys can see my screen here. Okay, I'm trying to share a Chrome screen, but it's not visible. interesting. Okay, so I'm not able to share my screen on Chrome. What I would do is I will download it maybe and share it to you. So this is weird. Okay, perfect. Cool. I think you guys can see the screen with the resume here. Okay. So yeah, so this is actually a friend's resume. He was my friend from IIT Madras, and he had, when he was graduating from college, this is how he wrote things up. Initial details here, maybe the college logo, and then a table which was added, and then certain awards which he had got, and then he started with writing professional experience. Okay. There is a small issue in terms of the alignment, which I will try to set up now. Okay. And then he started with professional experience first, then position of responsibility, then co-curricular extra activities, and so on. Okay. So that's very important for you to understand that when you are writing it, everyone has to put professional experience first. Now, how to start with that, right? So once you are writing this up, I will actually walk you through on how to build this up quickly on another screen. Okay, not this one. Yep, this is where we go. Okay, so say for example you are building a resume, right? So the one of the things you would see is the name and the heading starts from very top. Okay, that means the header and footer has been played with, and then there are linings and bullets, and on the right we have mentioned the details, and on the left we have mentioned, right on the right we have mentioned the dates, on the left we have mentioned what internship to do. So first things first, you start with editing the footer and the thing. So you can click on this page icon button. It would take a second or so, and it would open something called page setup. So usually you reduce your footers both on the top left and right to 0.3. Again, that depends on how much content do you have to write. It is good to have reduced format, and over here you would see on the screen. 1 second, I think it's not showing up. So what I'm saying is, if you double click, you would see something like this, a page setup. Okay, and on the page setup you put your details, margins. I put 0.3. That means on the bottom you would see a very compact resume, and which is similar to the resume which I am showing to you guys. Okay, so you click on that, and then you have got that format, and then we go back to our document to start building it up as per that. Okay, now right now you would see I didn't change things on the top, so I will just change that as well and go up. So right now I reduce the left and the right. You see the boxes here, the small arrows, and I will change the bottom and top as well. Okay, for some reason it's not showing up, but nonetheless I think you got the point here. So we start with writing the names, a bit of our introduction and other things here. So you write the name. You have to, of course, work on the titles and other things as well. So you can use the headings which are shown on the top panel on this page. For all the documents you have usually these headings and others. You mention your name, you mention your roll number, Okay, there are certain things you always have to have a ruler view in front of you. Okay, so you put ruler up here. Okay, because why you need ruler is to see where your pages or your details are, and you can play on with that. Over here you can add this tab, left tab or the right tab. So these left tab or the right tabs which you see over here on the 54 or on the 2 are the ones which are used to give gaps. Say for example, if I if I move the left one over here and I press the tab over here, I just went to the left tab here, and if I move it here, I can start writing from here, and I can mention maybe my contact number here. You don't have to give a lot of spaces. So this tab ensures that everything from now onwards goes in this direction. So you remember we had moved it here, so you move it here, so anything you write here at the bottom of it, maybe you start writing that, okay, objective here, I want to be a so and so engineer, and then you press tab, you jump back over here. Okay, so these little left tabs and the right tabs are pretty useful tools which you should be always playing with when you are using them. Okay, less spaces, more tabs. Okay, then of course your other friend is a table, because usually when you are a fresher it's good to insert a table for your education aspects. Now again we will take a reference from a friend here who has put 4 columns. Okay, program, college, GPA and year of completion. Now similarly we put 4 columns, we give program, institution, you are not mentioning only college. Okay, then percentage, and then year of completion. Okay, and then you add another row and add another row, and you keep going all the details over here. Now you should of course change your top one by making it bold. You can even give it a background color. Let's say for example this has a light background color, you add that up. So there are 2 ways. Now what I did was I highlighted text, which we should not be doing. We should not highlight text, we should fill the box. Okay, so where's the fill the box thing? Okay, over here this drop thing is the fill the box. You fill the box. Okay, and you remove the text highlight. So that's how the top box is different, and then you can keep building over here. You should have your lines inserted. You could do page break, but for us what we need to insert is lines, so that after each section you start writing, you can give those lines. Sometimes you would have seen in this section over here, he has created over the line which got a misplaced, but the idea is then you can create, say for example, another table. A lot of tables are used. Okay, this is interesting about making a resume, because you insert a table, okay, with maybe one cell. Okay, and then you start writing here the heading, you color it up the way I showed you. With this, and then you remove the borders. Okay, no border, and what you see is text highlighted. This is something which is used a lot when you are putting something like, okay, work experience over here. So you want to segregate it, and then you want to start writing your work experiences in bullets. So use a lot of bullets. Okay, you can change the size of bullet as well. Okay, so you can of course make it customize, and then you can change the sizes. So I will leave it all to you explore, given that we have limited time, but that's how you keep building on your Word. You have to use a lot of tables. Okay, top section you have to play with your header and footer. You have to use left tab and right tab to ensure the spacing. And if you are using tables, you have to ensure, say for example, you might want a program name bigger, institution name bigger, percentage would be smaller. okay, percentage, or you could say GPA, and year of completion could be smaller as well. Okay, so you can space them meeting your requirement. So these are the ways you step by step build your resume in a clean format that can be used. Worry not, we will be sharing with you all these templates in a way which you could just download, remove the content, add yours, and it is easy for you to use. Okay, so this is one was where you start building your own resume on Word. Okay, now if you have any questions, guys, feel free to keep putting it up in the chat. I will be taking all of them at the end of the discussion over here. Now let's look at an easy one which you would want to start setting it up, right? This was a harder one, but this gives you a lot of freedom. This gives you a lot of design option, and it is very clean. This was the tool which was used by me, by a lot of others when we didn't have a lot of fancy online tools. But today the world is smarter, and let's use some smart tools. Okay, so we'll jump to Canva now. If you don't know Canva, Canva is one of pretty awesome tools. It's a free come paid. You can use it in a way like, what do you say? The free version do a lot of customization, but they have a paid version as well, where they make you they give you predefined things automatically so that you don't have to work a lot. Okay, so let's go to Canva. Okay, so I think you can see my screen here with Canva. Okay. So in Canva, if you search for resume template, okay, by definition it will give you a resume template. Okay, and but if you look, one of the resume templates which we were trying to do it on Word, it is paid. Okay, use this template, it is paid, it will ask you to pay and all of that. But remember, we are freeloaders, we do it all for free. So what do we do? Okay, so you can start with creating your own resume. If you go to over here, home template resume, if I click go back on resume making, it would say create your own resume. Okay, if I click on that, let it load up. Meanwhile, I will go back here on my worksheet. So if you want already pre-built, just edit, you can build it. Otherwise, you can start with create a blank resume. Okay, or you have other resume tools which are free. You could see that if you want something, pick one of that. But guys, when you look at a fresher's resume, usually fresher's resume is pretty simple and straightforward, not very fancy, because there's not much to write. If you have a lot of things to write, then you could use things like this. But it's suggested that keep your resume neat and clean so that a lot of people find it easy to read, and that's a format which is used by a lot of reviewers, which makes it easy. Also, what happens these days is there is ATS. ATS is automated tracking system, which automatically tracks all the applications which are there. Now, application tracking system automatically reviews going through your resume, pick words, and then makes sense whether this resume fits or not. So sometimes it is easy. It sometimes the company suggests you that use only this format, and then of course you go by that. But if there is an option for you to choose, you can use a fancy format like this one, which we will just open, and or you can build what we saw building on a Word document, even on Canva. Now, when you start building on Canva like Word, it's a bit more exhausting because the tables come in a very different format and you can do a lot more design yourself, which makes it tougher to use. So the best way when you're working with Canva is take an existing, template, build on that. So if I start building my template here, it's like a open white paper and you can build anything. You can drag and drop anywhere. There are templates here, and then you have to add a text box everywhere. In Word, you can keep pressing enter and keep going down. Over here, you have to have different text boxes. Okay, so I think there's some lag on the system here, which is an issue, but I hope the video is playing smooth. Okay. Okay. So say for example, let's add a new page and let's pick one of the resume templates here. Okay. Now what we want is to create our resume. If I go one by one, what do I have to do? I have to go to a text element, which you see over here, pick the text, drop it here, and then start writing and then change the fonts as per I want and all of that. But as I said, we are also smart, right? We pick an existing template. Now if you feel that you don't need this section, okay, just delete it. Delete all of the things which you don't want. Delete maybe the left one. Okay, there was text here. Delete that. Select it all. Now you have got something what we wanted from our previous style. Okay, now you move the text to the left. Okay, move this to your left. Okay, select this whole section. Okay, I'm finding some troubles here. Yep. You just simply move your mouse, select it, move it to your left, and wow, we have got what we wanted, right? Okay. So I will zoom it in a bit. Okay. So then you make it go to the points where you want to have it till, and there you are. It shows you whether it's in alignment or not. And then if you want to maybe say move the date to your left, because now you have more space, okay, and maybe move the company name here and the job description here. Okay, you can do all of that. So it requires a bit of understanding. All of these things are one element. It's one line, it's one circle which is placed on top of this. If you want to move it up, you can move it up and then move all these things up as well. So it's, as I said, it's a canvas. You know, you can do anything you want to do by simple drag and drops. Very easy to use. You can just pick any template you want. You can remove some of the sections, you can add some of the sections and play along with it. Okay, and there's a paid template as well which you could start with. Okay, so you could play, make the space. So it's a bit more customizable than a Word. Word is more structured. So people who want it more structured, just play with tables and some spacing, Word is a better tool. People who have more ideas, want to do more creativity, Canva is a better tool. Okay, now let's go to the next tool, which is the surprise tool, right? And which is going to be Excel or a Google Sheet. Okay, now this is already created. Now Excel is one of my favorite tools. Almost for anything what I do, I end up using Excel, right? So I thought, why not let's look at creating a template on Excel. And to my surprise, it does help a lot. It is easy. A lot of the tabs, the spacing, all of those were the issues with Word or with Canva are not the issues with Excel. Why? Because you have cells. You can make the cell big or small. There's a particular definition of the cell. You know, there's a width to it, there's a height to it, and you can put your images, all of that, and you can change the design. All of that is doable on an Excel. So I ended up making a Excel template. So what I would do is I will show you how to make your own. So these are the two templates which we'll be sharing with you, one without image, one with image. But if you have to make your own template, make your own resume on Excel, how would you do it? First things, get rid of these grid lines. Okay, so you go to view, you go to show, and you remove grid lines. Okay, now this is where it starts. It's now like a Word or a Canva document at a piece of paper which you play freely with. Okay, now you know that you have to have a top section which is to be defined. Okay, so you put your name here. You want to give the, as in the, you know what we did in Word or what we did in Canva, you had a free space. On Word you had a footer and a spacing gap, right? So over here we also start defining our footer or our gaps here. So we make the column A a bit small. That is the kind of gapping we are going to give. We see how much is the details over here. So if you see right click on A and you see resize column, you would see the amount of the value or the sizes. So this is 16. So what I would do is I will go to the last column which I would be coming to and make it 16 so that both the sides we have equal gapping. Now the next section, you start with your row number 2 because that's where you want to put your name as. Okay. So you start with your name. Now name is a bigger section. So what you do is you make your text bigger. What you could do is simply select the text, go to maybe 18. Okay. And then your column size becomes bigger, which is fine. Now in Excel automatically there is a gapping on the top and on the bottom, which takes care of the line spacing. On Word or on Canva you have to play with the spacing. Okay, maybe you want to put a smaller text under it about your objective. I am a geek who loves free things and like getting things done fast. Okay, so a lot of times you need not to do this, but you can put it here. Then if you are a coder, you can put your GitHub link here, or if you are not a coder, you want to give your LinkedIn link, you can give your LinkedIn link here and all of that. Now once you have put your name over here, you want to have another section for some spacing. Okay, and then the way we had a right tab in the MS Word, we will have a tab here. So you put your name here, then we actually merge. Okay, sorry. So we merge first and second. I will tell you why. Then the third column is the bigger one, and fourth, fifth, sixth. Sixth one is like the first one, A. So we make the G column as our final column with the line spacing. So 16 was the size. We resize column. We put it 16, and we make it smaller. Okay, and the size reduces. Okay, now B and C, as I said, are of the same size, so we make it back almost to the same size, and we merge the column, because if your name is bigger, that's where we merge it. And you can keep writing your name. Name is big, so takes space, and if it is still bigger, you can merge it with column D. Okay, so that it starts showing up. Now D was the column, if you remember, was a bigger, and E and F are of the normal size. Now why is that? Because we are going to be giving bullets and we are going to be giving further spaces, right? So that's why we have E and F. Now in E and F column, we start writing our number and the name details, and F column we will use for our education degree and everything. Okay, so that's why we have two columns. E again we keep it short because it's so as it looks good. So you can write maybe your contact number here. You can write your email here. Okay, or maybe other small details. Remember, it should not cross your F section because your G is your fine print. And you keep building as per that. If you want to put some line under it, you can put a border and it automatically gets you a line. Okay. One good thing about Excel is that if you want to insert a table, which we did with our Word, okay, you could do it easier here as well. Okay, so you can insert various tables and put more structure to it, and it is very easy. So this is how you could start playing with Excel. Now this template we'll be giving it to you right away. I will give you an idea on how to use this template. So we have already mentioned the heading, the dates, all your college name, degree and everything here, projects, positions of responsibility in the format you want to have. The instructions already given to you on how can you download it. Only thing you have to do is you have to go to this, maybe press Ctrl P or maybe Paint. Okay, so you print. When you go to print, it asks you how much space to give, like, and what you see is finally how the resume should come out as. Okay, so you can change your footer over here to give more spacing and fit it up, and then go ahead. So it's done on Excel like that. As you can see, I'm not going in very detail because I'm trying to touch each and every tool here so that you can use, and we'll be giving these all templates to you to build your own resume. Okay, so this is how we are done with Excel. Again, Excel is something new you might have not come across and you could build upon. Now let's get to another tool. Now let's go to a tool which you can just start writing your details in a format way. You don't have to, make a lot of things or change a lot of things, which we did with Word, Canva, and all of those tools. So let's go back to maybe WPS, which is a free tool, which is like what you could say, MS Word, but similar. So we have these options in MS Word as well, and we have these options in a tool like WPP. Okay, and Zety and other tools which are free are similar tools as well. Okay, so say for example, if you are going to, what do you say, a template, you can use a template on resume. It's free to use. You start free use. Okay, something went wrong. It's not allowing it. Maybe. Let's see. Okay, it wants me to log in. So let me log in. So till the time I'm logging into it, let me walk you through Zety as well. So Zety or resume builder tools are some of the tools which you could use, predefined, pre-built, which are free. But a lot of time these predefined tools, web tools, are paid. So that's a issue which comes in. But nonetheless, once you are looking at your, being industry ready, I think these are good tools to go to. Okay, so you go to Zety and you start building up. So try our resume builder. You start with that. Again, it would ask you to log in, create your resume now. So Zety gives you a lot of predefined format, just we saw in WPS. Okay, and one good thing with Zety is it gives you options, what domain you want to apply for, and all of that, and it gives you color options and all of that. So it shows that okay, these are various methods you could go with. Again, if I'm a fresher, I would probably choose something more clean, less, what do you say, empty spaces. So I might use something like this, okay, because I could enter a lot of things here. But with Zety, the issue is, you would see there's a lot of white spaces out there. So someone who has done a lot of things, this is not good because you are not using your resume space very well. This is still better, and then you might end up using a place like this. Okay, because you could enter things on the right and on the left as well, but it's tough. But for a fresher who is having limited things to write, could use any one of them as per your design and your liking. Maybe let's pick this up and let's start, choose template and start building up. So I already have a resume. You upload it, they will reformat it. First, let me start with create a new resume. Okay, so it will apply the template, and then it will ask you what are your name details. Maybe my name is Umang Surana. Okay, you enter your profession. I am a co-founder and a freeloader. Okay, I am put up in Bangalore. India, maybe some pin code, some phone number here, okay, and some email ID. Okay, Next comes work history. So it walks you through one by one thing. You don't have to think a lot, and you can keep building on what you want to do. So if you are looking for a job seeking, it will give you some suggestions as per that. Okay, so it will give you work history thing, and then it will give you education thing. So it shows you step by step, and you can keep building on that. So then you keep entering your details, you keep pressing next, and you keep going further on. Okay, I don't have any work experience, so it takes me directly to the education section. Okay, then I click on next. I go to education. It asks me certain details. Again, over here, it's you are limited by what it gives, but the good thing is you don't have to think. Okay, everything is laid in front of you. So it's a pretty cool tool, and you could use. And there are many tools like this which are pretty flexible and pretty good to use. Now let me see. I hope our WPS is loaded. It is not. Okay, it has opened a browser tab. Let me log in on WPS. Just give me a second. So now we have seen an online tool, a Word tool, an Excel tool, a Canva tool. We'll see a tool like WPS, and we will be seeing Notion then. So I think we would be done with that. And then I would be taking more questions if you have any questions. And worry not, all of these templates, what I have shown you, will be made available to you. Any questions you have while you are creating these kind of templates, we will be answering that. And I forgot to tell you one thing, there's a bonus thing which will be giving you as well, which is something interesting and will be coming up. Okay, so I'm facing some issue with WPS, but it's similar to what I showed you at Zety. So I think I will skip this because we are limited on time as well. So let me go to Notion then. Now, I hope you can see my screen here on Notion as well, right? Cool. So again, Notion is like Canva in some ways. You can, if you search for template, resume template, Notion, not Nation, Notion. So Notion, I'm sure many of you would have already experienced. Those who have not experienced this, again, a pretty cool tool. You can learn a lot from this. Okay, and start building from there. So, okay, let's jump into resume Notion gallery. Okay. It is taking some time to load up, but I guess nonetheless, I think it would give you a lot of resume options. Okay, so in this there are multiple sections. So what happens is, let's duplicate this and let's start building on this. So you just duplicate it. You can make a lot of changes on this as you go. So guys, while it is loading up, I want to have your experiences on what was a new tool which you felt, okay, you didn't knew this or how it works and all of that, or something you would want to, play with, the tool you would want to build on. So what are your thoughts? Any tool you would want to enter here? Tell people on what tool you would build. So please put your comments and let's see what tool you will be using for building your resume. Because Notion is taking its good time. So till it takes up, let's discuss a few things here. Notion was a new one for me. Anuradha has mentioned. I use this for resume building. Lokesh, what is this? What are you suggesting here? Okay, so new resume is loading up. Okay, it's taking some time because of some internet issues maybe, but I will still walk you through on Notion as well because it's interesting, it's free. Notion gives student account access. It's a pretty powerful tool, let me tell you that. Okay, so how it works. So Notion is again an open sheet which divides the section. Okay, so how does it divide it? So if you would see over here, let me zoom in maybe. Okay, so Notion, what it does, all of these things are one section. You see a plus, you can click once, add one section. So each of those sections could be built differently. This is a text section. Maybe you could add a table section. Okay, after this section is over, there's another section which is added. Okay, so you can add multiple sections and each of those sections could be built different. Say for example, what we saw, I need to put a table here. Okay, now it, as soon as you click on plus, it tells you what do you want to do. You want a page would be like another section which you don't want. Okay, you either want text mostly, or you want a table. Okay, in our case, if we want a table, we put a table. Now it's again, you can add more columns, you can change the shape and the size of the table and then build your table accordingly. So Notion is beautiful that way, that it gives you choice at every point, and the customization you have to do on Word goes away. Okay, on one click you can have all the things you want to, and you can drop all of these images inbuilt, you can add emojis and all of that here as well. You can insert line the way it is done. Again, what we saw with Canva, you pick a template and you build your own. And in this, say for example, we will put this section concise with our above details. Okay, so we will remove this, we will just move work experience here, and maybe let me zoom out a bit. Okay, and I will start putting my more details over here. So I will add a section. You can move the section up or down the more you want, the way you want. Okay, so let's put text because I want to give my name and other details. You see, the section by default comes below. Okay, so what I do is I have moved it up. Now I will just mention my name. Again, just like other places, you can change the text size. You want it to be a heading 1 or you want it to be heading 2. Let's check all of those. Okay, heading 2 sounds good. Okay, so you can go ahead with heading 2, then you can press enter. With every enter, a similar section is automatically created. If you press shift enter, you don't come to a new section but a part of that section. So if you select one section, I move this, Umang Surana goes up and there's a blank section that goes up and Umang Surana comes below. And then you can use maybe, change heading over here, maybe entrepreneur if I write here. And I want to make it from heading 2 to normal text. Okay, I could do that. But see, that's what is interesting. So I pressed shift enter and not enter. Though both the whole edits got applied to the whole section. But if I would have just pressed enter, maybe let me take it to another section, Umang Surana here. You would see there's a box here and box here. So that means they are different sections. Now if I move it here, I make it heading 2. Okay, only Umang Surana goes up and entrepreneur is still there. And similarly, you can have multiple sections. You can even have a section alongside. So if I drag this section, put it here. Okay. because we are using the full page size. Okay, so I could have a section side by side as well, So this is where the templates which you saw on Canva, where there's one left section and a right section, you can move the section side by side as well and make things work. And over here, however, you have to work with spaces because it doesn't come with a good inbuilt tab function which is there in MS Word, or you don't have Excel like prefix sections. So you have to work with Excel, spaces here, or tabs. You can press tab and it moves a bit. No, tab doesn't work. You have to press spaces. Okay. So you can insert image, you can write the way you want. It's in some way it's very similar to working on Word. It's just that spacing and certain other sections come better. Each section in itself you can build much easier, but of course there's a learning curve. You have to build up on that and then you can use it. So there are multiple guides on all of these tools. If you go YouTube, you will find more guides on how to build resume on Notion, and we will also be sharing detailed guides on each of these tools very soon, so that if you want to use any of these tools, you would have a step-by-step guide on how to use them. Perfect. So these were some of the tools which I wanted to walk you through, and which was your favorite one? Do comment, let me know, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask up. What I'm doing is I'm also sharing a link with you guys, which is the form link which you should fill to let us know how did you like the session, what else you would want to know, and further more details. I am putting it in the chat here, which you should fill. Okay, so I have shared the Zoho form link. Do fill that form so that we will know who all attended and we give their certificates as per that. The next thing I will also be sharing with you is the next, what's next. You have already attended sections or seminars from G1, then you attended a seminar from Gokul. There are other more seminars coming up and they are going to be pretty good as well. So let me share what is next with you. So next with us is Mr. Ajay. Ajay is an entrepreneur. He had been an young innovator and a lot of other, he's a YouTuber, an educator, and there are a lot more adjectives which I could put to him because he is amazing. He will be coming in live with us, in the next session which we will be having. So I will be walking you through his details as well. But I'm just finding it difficult to locate that information, so just bear with me a second and I will show you further details. It will be happening on 31st of January, and we will be walking you through how he became an entrepreneur, what he is doing for society, and he comes from a very humble background and he has worked with government and a lot of things. So it would be a very exciting session which you should definitely attend and you should learn a lot from him. It would be happening on 31st August, 6:30 p.m. Just give me a second. I will be sharing the image with you just in a bit. So meanwhile, I'm free to take some questions, guys. Feel free to share your thoughts. How did it go? And any more details you would want to know. Some tricks and tips you would want to know on these things. Do ask. So one thing I would also show you is, since we have made the resume, right? Now let's close this up. The next thing is essentially a bonus. All of these templates, as I said, will be given to you. We are launching our own resume making tool, which will be absolutely free, which will be more customizable, and you could use the link to share with on as a digital one or as a downloaded one. So we'll be giving you all those options pretty soon on a resume making tool on our website. And the final thing, we are Capabl. We are creating a Stanford ecosystem for everyone, which is something we want to give our audience the best platform and the best learning experience you can get in India, and then become the best engineer you want to be. So happy resume making and job seeking, and I would be sharing the details of Ajay's session right here as well. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm free to take questions. Any questions you have, keep putting up here, and we will be discussing them. Resume should be within one page. Lokesh, usually yes, I would recommend that creating a resume in one page, because the idea is that many a times most of the things you have learned while you are in college can be put in one page. Some of the resumes which I showed you, which were very condensed, very dense in information, which looks good as well. If you leave a lot of white spaces on a page and you extend your resume on two page, then the resume viewer sees that okay, you have not done an efficient job. And if there's only one page on and certain small things written on the back page, and if someone has a printout, okay, so they might miss the back side. So usually it is suggested to have one page resume, everything covered on that, so you don't miss a chance. Given that today is a digital world, you could still go to 2 page, 3 page, but the idea is if you can put it in one page, why do it on 2 page? And many times all of those automatic which I told you about application softwares, they might have certain limits on that, and they might want you to do one page, but you could have 2 pages as well, but try to stick to one page. As a fresher, most of the things you have done could be put in a one page. So pretty interesting question. I think a lot of you would want to have answers to that, so use one page. Perfect. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to ask up, and then I think we would be concluding on the session. Okay, so I'm also sharing the next session image with you. I have got it downloaded now. It took some time to show up, but yes, we are good. I hope, guys, you guys found certain interesting things today, which is something which you might have come across for the first time. Okay, so that was the intent, that we give you something to take away, find interesting tools, build up on that, and then play with more tools which you could use. Okay, so I'm not sure. I think the photos is not visible. Okay. Okay, guys, I think we will share with you again on the messaging. For some reasons, I'm not able to show it up to you guys, but I guess that completes the session. I haven't seen more questions coming up, so we'll be concluding the session. Okay, please share resume template soon. Love, we will be doing that. Mohammed Samir, is summary about section necessary for fresher? No, that's actually not even necessary for experienced people also, because if I'm looking at your resume, I will go through each and every point, and if I find it relevant anyways, that is fine. I need not to look at your ceremony, your summary. Aniruddha has mentioned Flow CV is a good idea. That's a good tool for everyone to explore as well. She has submitted the details in the form. That is great as well. So yeah, and I think there are no further questions. So with this, we could conclude it. It was great to have you all. We will be bringing more such sessions, more learning. This was a break from the technical ones, but getting you started on these templates so that you have something to work on. Again, we will be getting into an experienced chat with Ajay, and then we will be getting into some more technical and HR sessions. And then finally would be the main event where will you be building the resume and submitting the final one, which we could take, which we could evaluate, and then give then give it to the placement people and maybe get you internships and jobs. So stay tuned and keep building your resume and make a record. Take care. Bye bye. This is Umang signing off from Capabl.